Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the MPG God Bomber, and here he is. Obviously, we're going to do God Ginrai, but we're going to take a look at God Bomber first and foremost. So here he is in his weird trailer thing. I don't really know what it is. He does have this little compartment here at the front to house all of the Headmaster Juniors. I can't remember any of their names, but that's where they can go. And I'm not going to cover anything. I got the big gift set, the box set one, which came with like a stand and like a different face for God Bomber. But we're only going to take a look at the God Cannon today as an accessory with God Bomber and God Ginrai. So it's just going to be the God Cannon. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called, but that's what we're going to call it. But yeah, this is such an odd mode. Really, God Bomber has always been a supplemental toy to Ginrai, to Super Ginrai, and this is definitely it. It's literally just a trailer extension with the God Ginrai chest plate just strapped to the front of it, but I kind of love it for that. But let's do the main thing that it can do and bring in the trailer for Super Ginrai, and of course Ginrai himself. Real quick, put Ginrai here at the front, and back here, obviously, we can flip out this little tab, and I just realized this. I didn't realize this at all. Just right now, this live, that the back suspension is leaf springs. I think that is so cool and awesome that there are leaf spring suspension actually molded into these back wheels. I never had noticed that, but that is super duper cool. Is it on? It's also on God Bomber. That is so cool. That's so cool. So cool that they actually sculpted in leaf spring suspension into the rear axles of both of them. Not just Super Ginrai or God Bomber, but to both of them. But sorry about that, but you'll flip out this tab, and then you'll come to the front of this and flip this out, and we have the teeny tiniest little peg that will engage with that little panel right there. And now we have the trailer all done up. See if I can get all of it in frame because it's so long and make it not fall off the desk. And here it is. It's super duper long, as you can see. And since everything has nice pinned wheels, it is obviously a dream to roll around. But this just looks super, super cool. If I would easily see, like, if you had the space for this as a display, it'd be awesome because it looks very cool with all of its size and length and everything. How the stripe carries along, how it goes up on this side, it goes up on that side, just to give it that sort of symmetry, even though it's smaller and everything, but it gives it that symmetry. That is just super duper cool. But we're gonna finish taking a look at the rest of God Bomber. There's not really too much to him at this moment in time, because like I said, this really is just for mainly just to attach to Super Ginrai. Everything else with this mode is just, this thing. So let's just jump straight into the robot mode. So obviously we'll take the God Cannon off and just set it off to the side. And first thing that I'm going to do is just untab these side pieces like so. And now I'm going to take this whole top piece off and worry solely about this. So we're going to fold these panels up really quick, close them up, and just tab them in like so. And then we'll split the legs, extend them out, and now you can just carefully swing them underneath of the skirt like so. And I'll leave the camera down really quick, and we'll just slide that together to form the back of the torso and the legs. So we're done with that right now. Now we need to work with all of this. So I'm just going to get the wings sort of up out of the way because those really don't have, I'll show you. Swing these little thrusters around like that, and then we will flip the head out. And now for one of my favorite parts of his transformation is that you swing the arm around, straighten it all out, and now it will accordion up, and then it has this little slot, and there's a little tab in there, and I like to rock it forward, and then it just sort of goes in. I absolutely love that. It's super satisfying to do, just to sort of just do that, just to angle it out and just sort of swoop it in there. I just really like that. It's super fun. So now we have his top half all done. So now we'll raise the camera so we can merge the two. So we're going to use these two tabs, and these are gonna get a little bit finicky when we actually start fitting it up, and then we're going to use these two slots. So corresponding things over here, these two tabs up here, and those two slots in there. And then before we do that, we need to bring these up like so, these little straps, but the tabs need to stay down. No, sorry. These tabs are being utilized for those bottom gray tabs. But we'll fold all these three of those panels in like so. And now this will just slide in. And the wings definitely fight you a little bit just because they don't really necessarily, because there's so many joints in them, they don't really like to sort of stay, or not stay, but they don't really like to sort of mesh into the slots that those tabs need to go into. So I like to get the other tabs in, and then you can sort of just fiddle with these, just pull them in and out just like that, how I just fiddle with it a little bit to get it fully in. And so yeah, there he is. Obviously that was a little bit hectic, especially putting the two halves together, but we got there. And he looks really nice. Just quick, put the God cannon on his shoulder, and this toy really does look really, really nice. He's obviously not perfect because his gigantic forearms have to then be proportionate for God Ginrai. So obviously his forearms are gonna be pretty big, but it's okay. Like, I understand that's just one of the sacrifices and the compromises that has to be made so God Ginrai doesn't look all wonky and weird. So God Bomber just takes the hit for God Ginrai. And God Bomber, unfortunately, has always had to do that, just the way he works. But what I do love about God Bomber is that the way he actually integrates into Super Ginrai to form God Bomber, God Ginrai, sorry, so many names, is that so many of his pieces actually get used to develop Super Ginrai into God Ginrai, into just like a bigger, better toy. How like his forearms make forearm extenders, he has leg extenders, and then he has a backpack and chest plate. I just love that so much gets used from this guy. Just obviously there is stuff that goes on his back, but not as much as some of the toys from like Super God Master Force. Victory Saber, like a lot of Victory Leo ends up on Star Saber's back. You know, a lot of the Brave toys, a lot of the later ones, actually some of the Brave toys, you know, and then you get some of the Unicron trilogy toys, they don't utilize all of the pieces to the extent that they should, but God Ginrai always has. So I'll quick get this guy ripped apart, and then we'll be able to bring in Super Ginrai to form God Ginrai. So just take the God Cannon off again, and we'll just start off really simply with the fists, or the hands, or what have you. So you'll come out here, flip that out, and what I like to do, because these tabs are just tight enough that you can't just really like pull it out, I like to just flex the plastic a little bit, just so it's a little bit easier to open, and that's both ways, going down and going up. I just prefer to do that. I just feel like I'm not stressing the plastic as much. So just close that up, and now we have a hand. And now same thing over here, just start that, open that, bring that out a little bit more, flip the fist around, close that, and now there's another fist. So now we'll do the legs, or leg extenders, I should say, but the legs, wrong way. Gotta pull them the right way. So now we'll just set him down, and now we'll come to these panels and open them up, and just fold the legs in like that. Close them up. I like to push the toe forward to then bring down the big foot, then close that and close it up. Flip this panel. I typically forget this just because it's a little panel, but same thing over here. Push that forward, bring that out, bring that down, bring that up again, and now flip this up. And now we can come to these panels, and there's this little button, and it will release that, or release a lock for this. And I absolutely love that. And then we'll spin the wheels around to the top. So there's one done. Same thing over here. Just undo this. Undo that. Spin this around. And close that up. So there are the two feet pieces. And now it's time to just split him again, like this. And we need these pieces. And then we need to pull the waist off separately. And then we will fold these panels out like so. And now with this, we'll just fold his head in like that. And then we will basically transform this back again, just like that. And then I just like to fold the little what's left of the elbows down. And I don't think there's necessarily a specific way you need to have the wings, but we'll just do it like that. And we'll take this, fold those up, bring this down, bring those down. And now with these little slots right there and those little tabs, it will hang off. The waist will hang off of the shoulders, basically, like that. So there's the backpack. And now the chest plate, all we'll do with this that's left, just extend these out, bring them down, just sort of angle them. So then the chest plate's all done. So let's go get Super Ginrai. Okay, and here he is. So the only thing I haven't done is just transform his hands, and that's super simple. You just fold him up. So we'll just get him into a stance super duper quick, just so it's easier for him to sort of stand. And now we will extend the camera out a little bit. So now we will start with the legs or the feet, and you will just use the slot and the two ports and pegs and just do that. Same thing over here, like that. And now there are his legs. Now we need to raise the camera up even higher. And now the arms will just go over those pegs. I mean, this peg will go into that port like that. And these like little fins are articulated. I don't know why, but they are. Same thing over here. And you are supposed to extend these out. I'm not going to do that. I think it just has degraded the joints over, you know, even the little bit that I've done it like that. So I just leave these in. And that's what these straps do. They're supposed to go over and tab in the very back. So mine will sit just like a little weird and wonky. So since we have this, I'll put it on. It will use these 4 tabs in these 4 slots, and it will probably fight me to line up. And you can see it's already fighting me. It has lined up. Obviously, you can see that it went on. But you can see that this plate is flexed up, and now there's a gap between Ginrai and the Super Ginrai head. And I've always thought that. I don't know why my Ginrai will not sit flush and all the way down into the Super Ginrai like body. So now this is just really messed up. Like the first time I was doing this, it wouldn't go down. So this chest plate literally would not fit on because it was still being like, it couldn't fit over the chest and get onto the tabs. So that was really frustrating, and I just had to fiddle with it, and still even now, it is not perfect. But let's continue on. So you just split these if you haven't, or they haven't already, and these just become bigger shoulders. And I wish these had either bigger, longer pegs, or they just had more friction, because they like to come off, especially when you like to move the arms. Like this is the maximum amount of like outward movement that you can get, but it's okay. But now you can see like why the arms need to be splayed out over those joints under his arms, because now these don't sit flush, these straps. They don't do anything, especially with mine, for how much the chest plate just locks into everything. These are kind of pointless, so I just don't do that. So now, before I get to the frustrating part of all this, with the backpack, because it's definitely going to fight us, I'm going to put the God Cannon in his hand. So we'll just open up his hand, and these, like I said, are the new Masterpiece hands that I am not a super big fan of, but it will be okay. Probably fight me to put this in his hand. Yeah, it's just not gonna work. So we'll just peg it onto his shoulder when we're done. So we'll just put the God Cannon off to the side. So now we are going to get into my biggest, not even complaint or gripe or nitpick about this toy, is that we need to get this up out of the way first, is that there's nothing holding this flap on except for the friction of these little like tabs, and then just it's just pure friction. Like you can just see how easy it is for me to just get my finger in there and to undo it with just the weight of itself. So now we're going to put all this stuff on the back of it, and it's just going to utilize those same gray tabs like so, and just get all that on, and then just sort of drop that down just to get it to do something. And now we'll just put the God Cannon on his shoulder right there. Sorry you guys couldn't see that. But there he is. And this is very awesome. This is quite the spectacle of a toy. God Ginrai is just such, in my opinion, such a looker of a design. As I said, everything just gets upgraded with the pieces of God Bomber. The arms get longer, the legs get longer, the chest gets bigger, he gets a backpack, the shoulders. Is that this, not even just this toy, but this design is just incredible. I think God Ginrai is one of the most timeless, especially super combining robot toys probably of all time and designs of all time. That's why I'm so fond of this design, is that it just looks incredible. It looks just humongous. It's huge. Like, here it is compared to like Victor Leo, just to get a size comparison. And Victor Leo is not a small toy, this original one. He just the first thing I had, but it's just such a giant toy, this toy in particular, and then it's based heavily off of the actual, real toy, the real character model, obviously, because God Ginrai. I don't know why I said that, that's kind of dumb, but just such a timeless design of God Ginrai, and this toy looks the part. But And before I get into it, he definitely poses the part. I have played with this guy, I have posed him around, and with the very nice articulation that the base Super Ginrai has, he does pose very, very well. And I will give him that. Obviously, these shoulders are a little bit annoying. When I'm posing him, I typically just take them off because they just get annoying. So he looks the part. His transformation getting here is very fun, very intuitive, very, it does a lot for what these kind of combinations do, not being like an actual combiner as in like Scramble City, Devastator, those types of combiners. Like these types of combiners like Victory Saber, like a lot of the Brave toys, the Unicron Trilogy, Optimus Primes, all of those toys, those sort of combining toys. This guy is just a masterclass in all of them. He looks easily the best in my opinion. The way the feet and the legs fold up to make the feet extenders is just absolutely love it. I love the little hidden button. I know typically Takara probably wouldn't have ever done that. However long ago, they probably wouldn't have done something like that, but now they did, and that I think just sets something like this just the tiniest bit above. Just this, both these toys do have a ton of polish and love and care put into them, except for the guy that designed the backplate because, well, it's gonna stay. But the guy that designed this backpack, maybe I've been doing it wrong with, like, in this instance that you know what? It's time to say sorry. It's time to say sorry, even though this is the first time I've been talking about this toy. It's time to say sorry because I did not know that there were slots in the bottom of God Bomber's head to accept the tabs on the back of this. What's the hitch of the Super Ginrai trailer. Why isn't it lining up now? That's dumb. I didn't know that those were there. I had no clue that those were there. And it was solely relying on the friction of that little slot tab thingamawhatsit on the for that back hinge. I apologize, God Ginrai, because that has been a contention for me not liking this toy for so long. Or not liking it, but keeping me from truly loving it. From truly loving this thing. And obviously, it does have some quirks. Mine, particularly, the Ginrai, does not sit flush. So now the head doesn't sit flush. And then, just cause issues on the chest plate. I don't like the new Masterpiece hands. I will always say that. These, like I said, come off a little too easy, and I do not like the way they engineered these sort of straps and the shoulders having to splay out to accommodate that sort of thing. I'm not a big fan of that, but the biggest thing that kept me from loving this toy was the backpack. But that's clearly because I'm an idiot. Clearly because I, yet again, have egg on my face because I didn't decide to read the instructions. I didn't decide to watch any videos fully. That is purely on me, not this toy. Everything that I was really about to say about this is null and void. I was about to have a 5 to 10 minute conversation smearing this guy because his backpack doesn't tab in. Guess I can't do that anymore. I mean, I still can, but there's no point because I am the biggest idiot probably this side of the Mississippi River. Because I didn't notice that, because I didn't do any of that. But so literally this video was gonna be like literally right about now to be 100 times longer, but it's not because it doesn't exist. That problem that was there that I was gonna complain about, gone. Literally lost to the wind because my brain is stupid. But nevertheless, I love this toy. I love the look of it. Just super, super cool. Literally the only thing that I could really pinpoint is just my personal opinion and bias over these new Masterpiece hands, is that's why I don't really want to pose him, is because the hands suck and don't really hold things very well. But this is just a toy and a design that you just need to look at. Just look at this thing. Just look at how crazy this thing looks. Like, even if you just go just the standard Optimus pose. Like with the there goes the shoulders trying to, like, even just the standard Optimus pose that every Prime can do practically. This toy looks incredible doing such a simple pose, and I only moved like 2 joints. That's what I love about this design. I absolutely love this toy. Just looks so incredible. Like, the place where I have this, like, even just looking back at it now, like where he is supposed to be, where I keep in my collection, just looks empty because this guy isn't there. I love the size. The size is perfect for both of them when they're separate and combined. I don't think he's too big in both versions. I don't think Super Ginrai is too small, and I don't think God Bomber's too small. I think they're just right. I think the articulation is just right. I think the usage of ratchet joints is appropriate for both of them, and as God Ginrai. Obviously he does have a lot of stuff on his back, but that stuff has to go somewhere. And just the way the ratchets are done, the way just the feet are done, just due to his design, he doesn't have to worry about that instability or anything. Like, you don't have to worry about any sort of pieces falling off now, especially since I figured out that the backpack actually tabs in. But you just don't have to worry about anything with this toy. It's just super solid, super well built. Just the only thing that I would say is that he is quite expensive. Like, as I said, I got my Ginrai for $240 basically, and then this is the gift set. As I said, a gift set. God Bomber, which I think was like $230, I can't remember. So this is a $500 combiner. Obviously, you could get him now for a little bit better, but I highly doubt it. I don't know if anyone is selling God Ginrai alone, but nevertheless, you probably won't get him for that amount of money anymore, because Super Ginrai on his own has now gone up in price, and I imagine God Bomber has as well. But ultimately, he does seem kind of worth it. He's a super big toy. He's highly posable, and he just looks the part. He just looks incredible. You can just see how cool this guy looks. But yeah, if you could track both of them down, easily worth it for a good price. If you're just looking for one, I would recommend just Super Ginrai. God Bomber will always be just a little bit lacking on his own. Is this God Bomber still bad? No, by any means. But if I had to put one above the other, Super Ginrai will always be better. But obviously, looking at God Ginrai before us, if you have the time, if you have the patience, if you have the money and the want, I would recommend hunting down both of them because they just look incredible. But that is to each their own, to everyone's opinions and outlook, and that's what I have to say. So till next time, see ya.